Cowboy Jim in Fort McMurray, Thursday afternoon, and I I realized that I should be making two videos a day, and I will sometimes wait until I feel motivated to do it, and it actually is better if no matter my personal condition. Um, Optimism of the day, short term optimism, and stuff like that. It's better if I just make the video and entrust it to the creator. So I I premise my videos on my life's experience, what what's happened, and I watched today um, Yellowstone a little. I watched the next series called 1923, and I revel in ruggedness, in uh, having the privilege of knowing some real cowboys, real ranchers. I had a horse ranch, and um, I do in many ways fulfill the rugged aspect. Never could stay on a horse, not since I was a kid. Did pretty good back then, but later life I couldn't stick with a horse that well. But anyways, I was watching um, 1923, and they started showing and I've watched this a few times about Spencer and a countess type lady in Africa, and I I revel in adrenaline. Uh, People don't understand that, but I suppose if you were a race car driver or something like that, you would understand what I was talking about. And I watched um, several times every scene that had to do with this African hunter and his lady. And he had come out of the First World War, and he was some damaged, let me tell you. And so much so that he hunted man eaters and did it in response to what we probably would call PSTD nowadays. It seems that's that's a real happening that has happened many times before in many wars before, where people barely could make it through physically, yes, but mentally, the hardships represented were terrible. And and I am a sucker for a good love story. And people say, you got to be kidding. But I am. I wrote one once. I have not gotten it published because it was too rugged. And it was at that time where I was just coming out of, if you know a few of my videos, Hatred is one you really should watch because it will help you understand what I'm going to say next. But I had just come out of 4 months of having my food tampered with, and that really adversely affected me because I had never dealt with drugs and things like that, and and thus I didn't recognize what I was feeling. And anyways, that's the setting, the background of writing that love story. Um, that I have still not gotten edited, and but hopefully I will. But anyways, I watched this Spencer and the Countess fall madly in love, and uh, Taylor Sheridan, a tribute to him. I know of no one who can successfully do as he has done with Yellowstone, 1883, 1923, and he has an ability. Hey, when I was a kid, I loved Shakespeare because Shakespeare was a wordsmith. A smith, somewhat like a farrier, a blacksmith, but his medium were words, and I just love that because if you have a motive, a game plan, agenda, you can implement it as a wordsmith in a way that most people would not even begin to understand. I mean, not a clue. And I watched this culmination to the halfway point. The rest of the 1923 uh, has either not been written or it won't be out um, until closer to the end of this year. Taylor Sheridan, I almost feel compelled to pray for him, to encourage him, because I have enjoyed his work so much. Kevin Costner as well, except for the wolf thing that he did right early in his career, Never Cry Wolf, seemed to me to be too much agenda motive behind that. And my agenda, my motive is a recognition that there is a creator. There could be a creator. I believe there is. And if there is, what is his game plan for you and I? And so I delve into that pretty good. I was privileged to have a mother who whose mother prayed for our whole family. Her name was Liza Fisher, and there's an Eliza Jane maybe Fisher, and I'm not sure about the second first name. Um, but my mom was smart and she was sharp. Uh, and she said one day to me, she said, Jim, you love being in love. And I thought, okay, doesn't sound wrong to me. But her mindset was a lifelong commitment, no matter uh, the situation. And she was determined. I once was referred to as being the most determined man that a friend of mine ever knew. And I thought, I think that you could have used the word stubborn instead of determined. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and I am what I am. I I I choose to be optimistic about everything that has any semblance of good about it, any hope for good. I want to believe in something rather than nothing. I remember my sisters and I, we preached our dad's funeral, and we each had 10 minutes. Uh, my sisters forgot to mention that to me until I was sitting at the front of the church with my mom and my three sisters, and one sister leaned over and said, Jim, do you want to go first? I said, where? She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't understand what you're asking. I said, I don't need to be first, but tell me what it is. And she said, well, you have to go stand up in front of 500 odd people and tell them uh, about Dad. I said, well, given that no one mentioned it to me, probably I should go last. And and I did. And I've never attended a funeral where after the accolades were done, that there was a standing ovation. And we, as three sisters and myself and my mom didn't speak, she couldn't. Uh, but the whole church stood and gave us a standing ovation. And I think maybe that's the difference. If you have hope of life after death, then everything does not have the same semblance of finality. So I'm I'm really curious as to how much time. Oh, plenty of time. I encourage you in about three different directions. One, watch Yellowstone. It's closer to the truth of ranch life today, except for the number of people that get killed, uh, than you might imagine. And 1883, same. It was more rugged back then. And 1923, astounding. And if you want to see a love story, as I cherish love stories, because I have this innate depth of feeling that everything's going to work out well. Now, I don't want to watch a movie with a sad ending. I don't want to. I don't want to sit for an hour and a half or 2 hours and get up more sad than I was when I sat down. It's just my choice. So I strongly recommend uh, Spencer the Hunter and the Countess, their love story set in Africa in 1923, and I do that because I love a good love story, and that certainly is a good one. I think maybe it is because I hold on to hope, cherish hope. I cherish life as well. And I anticipate doing that until I take my last breath. And I look to the author and the finisher of my life. That's God, His Son, under the unction of the Holy Spirit. And I revel in life. I try to temper my need for adrenaline with my need to care for others who are round about, to be able to say, hey, I happen to know what you're going through, having done most everything wrong in my life at least once. I don't mind making mistakes if I learn from them. Oh, I don't like making mistakes. I don't like anyone who recognizes in me that I could have done better. I don't mind them. I just despise my frailty. So I am hoping that you will look a little deeper into my YouTube videos than some. Hatred, what do you do with it? Okay, that's about 4, 5, 6 videos ago. It's good. I think it's good. And I think we need to know where we stand on all these issues. What do you think? The chances are there could be a creator. Do you think what you see on the news in the States and in Canada have some bearing on end times? What do you feel? What do you think? Have you thought? Do you anticipate processing thought in your life in order to determine the direction that you're going in, whether or not it is a direction that will take you closer to your final goal? We are different than the animals. We can think. Hopefully, Irish, we have a little harder time with it, thinking, but we do it. Take another look at the Lord, would you please? Take another look at, not religion, but take a look at, is God real? If he is, what compulsion does that place upon me? He fulfills his responsibility. How can I fulfill mine to him and to those around about us? God bless you. If you haven't visited the subject of the potential of a creator, consider doing it. And if you, as I, love a good love story, watch Taylor Sheridan's um, offshoot from Yellowstone, 1923. You'll be blessed. It's called Living. Thank you so much, and God bless. And you have a good day. Thank you.